Hi class, this is Coach Riza. In this video, we are going to talk about changes that materials or matter undergo. Matter is everywhere, and materials that we see around us undergoes changes. So yung mga bagay na nakikita natin sa ating mga paligid ay dumadaan sa mga pagbabago, at itong mga changes na ito, these changes can either be physical or chemical. So let's see what is a physical change and what is a chemical change. Physical change is when matter changes its form but not its chemical makeup. Changes in physical properties, appearance, state, or properties but not its composition. Ibig sabihin, class, ng physical change, ang nabago sa kanya ay physical na appearance. Yung mga physical properties na napag-aralan natin last time, like the color, odor, texture, shape. Okay, so those physical properties na ay nagbabago depende sa ating materials or dumadaan sa pagbabago ang ating materials. So physical na appearance, state, or properties but not its composition. Hindi nababago kung ano man yung chemical component or chemical makeup ng isang matter or material. So what are these examples of physical change? So let's see on the next slide yung examples ng physical change. So examples of physical change are these. So breaking of glass. So kapag kayong glass, nabasag siya, glass pa din naman siya, right? So nabasag lang siya. Mixing of candies. Now, if we have a lot of candies in our bag and we mixed it, so it's still candies. Nothing changed from its appearance or its color or taste. So, parehas pa din na yung mga pinaghalo-halo nating candies ay candies. So, shredding paper is another example of physical change. So, si paper, nung buo pa siya, no, papel siya. Of course, paper. But if we shred the paper, if we tear the paper, so ginupit-kupit natin or shred natin yung papel, kahit na maliit na yung papel, papel pa din siya. Same goes with folding a paper, like this one. As we can see here, it's an origami. An origami is a paper art, art of folding paper. So when we fold the paper, it's still the same, it's still a paper. Melting of ice. So kapag natunaw ang yelo, yung makeup or chemical makeup ng yelo, which is water, pag natunaw ito, ay tubig pa din naman ang kanyang kalalabasan or water pa din siya. Okay, but in a different state, so it's from solid to liquid. So ice is solid and when it melts, it turns into liquid. Chopping of wood. So wood. So, may malalaki, may maliliit na branches of wood. So, yung mga malalaking wood, if we chop it into smaller pieces of wood, no, kahit na maliit na yung wood natin, wood pa din siya. Cutting our hair is also the same. If we cut our hair, na it's still a hair. Dry ice sublimation. So, dry ice is a solid form of carbon dioxide. And when it's exposed to air, exposed to the environment, it naturally converts from solid into gas. So dry ice undergoes sublimation. Boiling water, same. So water, liquid. When we boil water, steam comes out or vapor comes out from it. And that vapor is also water. Breaking egg. So if we just break it, it's still an egg. So broken lang siya into half. Under physical change, we have this change in state or phase. Ito yung pagbabago ng state ng isang bagay or material or substance from solid to liquid, and liquid to gas, gas to liquid, liquid to solid to gas, and gas to solid. So we have 6 process wherein may change the state from one state into another state. It's the melting, vaporization, condensation, freezing, sublimation, and deposition. So let's see what are these change in phase or state. So first is melting. Melting is a phase change from solid to liquid. So from solid, matigas yung solid natin, it can change into liquid. Okay, so for example, we have a solid ice. So ice is hard when it's still in a solid state. So once it melts, pag mainit, nilabas natin siya sa ref, mainit na. So it will melt into liquid water. Gallium is a metal. It's a type of metal that melts in our hands. So si gallium, yung kanyang melting point ay mababa or medyo mababa. Kaya naman, isa siyang type ng metal na madaling mag-melt kahit na sa temperaturang nagmumula lamang sa ating mga kamay. So kapag hinawakan natin, mainit yung kamay natin or may init ang ating kamay na nagmumula sa ating katawan. So yung init na yon ang nakakapagpatunaw sa metal na gallium. Another example is ice cream. Like ice cream, no, when we buy ice cream, galing siya sa ref, when we expose it na sa mainit, so it will melt just like ice. So that is melting. It's a phase change from solid to liquid. Next is vaporization or evaporation. Vaporization class is a phase change from liquid to vapor or gas. Kaya na nakikita natin sa pictures ngayon. When we boil something like water, now it causes vaporization. Because of the heat, the presence of the heat causes the water molecules to vaporize. So, from the heat, mula sa init, okay, kumukulo ang ating liquid. And kapag kumulo ang ating liquid, now of course, magre-release ito ng gas or in the form of vapor. So, it is a change or a phase change from liquid to vapor. So, yung tubig na kumulo, yung liquid natin ay nag-change into vapor. Pero, water pa din siya. So, for example, water, na pinakuluan natin yung liquid, naging gas siya. Pinakuluan natin yung liquid, naging gas siya, or in the form of vapor. So, water vapor pa din siya. So, that's what they call vaporization or evaporation. Due to heat, it causes the process of vaporization from liquid to vapor. Next is condensation. Condensation is a phase change from gas to liquid. So, ito naman po, pabalik naman tayo. So, yung gas daw na nag-accumulate sa paligid natin, the water vapor, for example, kapag malamig or lumamig sa isang lugar or gaya ng ref, nilagay natin sa ref. So, nagkakaroon ng tinatawag na condensation. Yung air na nasa paligid dahil sa lamig or malamig na temperatura, ito ay nako-convert from gas to liquid. So, the gas vapor, let's say it's a water vapor, it will turn into liquid kapag malamig. Okay, pag sobrang lamig, ang nangyayari sa mga molecules ng ating vapor ay nako-convert back siya into liquid. So that is what we call condensation. Condensation again is a phase change from gas to liquid. Freezing or solidification. Freezing is a phase change from liquid to solid. And it happens when it's super cold. So when it's super cold, liquid can turn into solid. So we can observe this class when we wanted, let's say we wanted to have ice cubes. So in order for us to make an ice cube, we have to have a container and then fill it with water. So yung containers for ice cube, Okay, so we fill it with water and we put it in the refrigerator and we wait for it to solidify. So because again, class, it happens within our refrigerator, it's because it's cold. It's very cold na in our refrigerator. And due to that temperature, low temperature, ibig sabihin malamig, okay, that causes the liquid to solidify or to freeze. So like you can see here in our pictures, we have ice cubes. Now, of course, we can do that if it's, or we put water inside our ref. Or like what happens to the cold countries, somewhere in America or Europe or Russia, somewhere there. Somewhere, some of those countries that do have a cold weather. So sila yung nakakaranas ng gantong experience wherein nagso-solidify talaga yung liquid into solid. Na yung nakikita talaga nila, na-observe nila na nagfo-form yung mga icicles, as you can see here, na because of the cold weather. Second, that is freezing. Freezing or solidification. Okay, so freezing again is the phase change from liquid to solid. Next, we have sublimation. Sublimation is a phase change from solid to gas without changing to liquid. So ito naman, class, na this process we called sublimation. Ito yung process kung saan si solid ay dumidiretso agad sa gas. Usually kasi, class, pag nagkakaroon ng tinatawag na phase change, no, si solid ay usually munang nagiging liquid and then bago siya magiging gas. But for this case, si sublimation process ay diretso ng proseso from solid to gas without changing into liquid. So we have these two examples. We have dry ice and mothballs. Both are solids, but they release gas, no, once exposed sila sa environment. Like dry ice, as you can see, the clouds forming or surrounding it are clouds of gases that comes from the dry ice. Another example, class, are mothballs. Mothballs are small balls of chemical, pesticide, and deodorant. So ito yung nilalagay natin sa mga wardrobe, cabinets, ayan, na ginagamit ito sa mga storage ng clothings natin, pangtaboy sa mga moth or any insect na pwedeng pumasok sa ating cabinets. So yung mothballs, class, is a solid ball. Okay, solid siya. But, nagre-release ito ng gas. So, dumadaan siya sa sublimation. Kaya minsan, kung mapapansin nyo si mothballs, after few days or after few weeks, na nilagay natin siya sa ating cabinet, pag sinilip na natin muli yung mothballs, ay lumiliit ito or maliit na. Okay, it's because, again, class, si mothballs ay nag-change ng state once exposed, no, sa ating air, okay, sa ating environment. Solid, no, solid siya, it will convert into gas. So, nag-release siya ng gas, which is yun ngayon na amoy nating mabaho, na mabaho yung ating mothballs. So, that is sublimation. Again, it's the phase change from solid to gas without changing to liquid. Next is deposition. Deposition is a phase change from gas to solid without changing to liquid. So, ito naman, class, pabaliktad. From gas, na yung gas na nasa paligid natin, yung vapor, nako-convert siya into solid without changing to liquid. At ito ay nangyayari, class, kapag sobrang lamig, okay, ng temperatura sa isang lugar or sa ating atmosphere. So example of these are snow and frost. So kapag sa malalamig na lugar, ang ating water vapor na nasa kaulapan or nasa clouds natin in the form of gas, kapag ito ay nasa malamig or lumamig ang temperatura, ang nangyayari, class, ay dumadaan ito sa tinatawag na deposition. Nako-convert yung gas into solid. So, yung water vapor na gas natin ay kapag ka nasa malamig yung ating lugar, okay, na-form ngayon si snow or frost. So it's a direct change phase from gas to solid. And that's what we call deposition. Now let's move on to chemical change. So chemical change is when one or more than one kind of matter is transformed into a new type of matter. So changes in appearance as well as the composition of the substance, resulting in one or more new substances. So chemical change class happens if there is a change in the chemical composition, if there is a change within not only the appearance but also the chemical makeup or the composition of a matter or a certain object or material. For example, as you can see here in our picture, we have first iron chains. These are big iron chains. As you can see, the first one is a bit rusty and the other one is the normal chain or iron chain. So class, now metal like iron tends to rust when it's exposed to the weather like rain, the heat, exposure to heat, rain, and sa environment natin, no, sa air. Okay, so nag-oxidize yung iron, forming into rust or turning into rust. And that is what we call chemical change. So, merong nagkaroon na change within its composition na bago na yung kanyang chemical makeup. So, nagkaroon ng panibagong substance, which is the rust. Okay, from iron to rust. Another example is paper. Si paper, pag sinunog natin, gaya na nakikita natin sa picture na to, nagkakaroon ng reaction sa ating papel. Okay, dahil sa presence ng heat or apoy, okay, nasusunog or masusunog ang ating papel and it will turn or change into another type of material or substance, which is what we called ash. Si paper, na pag sinunog natin, it will turn into ash. Also like wood, so if we have a wood and we set it on fire, so the wood will change into coal or uling. Ayan, so si wood po na nagiging uling. So ibig sabihin panibagong or may nabuong panibagong substance or material dahil sa naging reaction ng material natin, like wood or paper, dahil sa apoy. Okay, or dahil sa prosesong nasunog ito. Another example class is when we are cooking something. Anything, like any food that we cook, like egg, frying egg, okay, nagkakaroon ng change sa kanyang chemical composition. So, naiba na yung structure within our egg. So, that is the chemical change. Okay, so again, it's the changes in appearance as well as the composition. So, resulting into one or more new substance. So, examples of chemical change are this one. Iron, rusting, burning, anything that we burn, okay, it's chemical change or chemical change happens. Cooking an egg, baking a cake, electroplating, banana, rotting. So, like vegetables and fruits, now they tend to rot or they tend to decompose. So, yung mga yon, yung mga fruits, vegetables natin, ay pwedeng mabulok. Okay? So, they are biodegradable. So, anything that is biodegradable class ay dumadaan sa chemical changes. Nababago yung composition within those food, vegetable, fruits na at that causes for it to decompose or decay. So, that causes the rotting, okay, or pagkabulok ng ating food. Okay, so another example is vinegar plus baking soda. Nagkakaroon ng chemical reaction causing the chemical change. And of course, fireworks. Okay, so that is chemical changes or examples of chemical changes. So here are some of the examples of chemical changes. As you can see here in the picture, we have rusting, decaying of fruits or decomposition. When we cook something, so there is chemical change. Let's have an activity. Let's identify if it's a physical or a chemical change. Analyze the pictures given on this slide. Is it physical or chemical change? Letter A is a chopped wood. Is it a physical change or a chemical change? What is your answer? The answer is physical change. Letter B, crumpled paper. Is it physical or chemical change? The answer is physical change. Letter C, cutting pizza. Is it a physical change or a chemical change? It's a physical change. Letter D, shredded paper. Is it a physical or a chemical change? It's a physical change. Popping popcorns. Is it a physical or a chemical change? It's a chemical change. Why is it chemical change? It's because, class, there is a presence of heat, and in order for us to pop the popcorns, of course, we need to cook it. So, of course, it will be a chemical change. And last is the broken glass. Is it a physical or a chemical change? It's a physical change. If you got the right answers, very good. Let's have a recap. Chemical change is a change that involves chemical reaction which forms new products. And examples of these are combustion, burning materials, cooking materials, rusting of metals, rotting or decaying of biodegradable materials, and digestion within our stomach is also a chemical change. Physical change is when matter changes form but not its chemical identity. So only the physical properties, the physical appearance, the states, but not the chemical composition. So examples are melting, shredding paper, boiling, chopping wood, etc. In chemical change, chemical reaction happens. We have two types of chemical reaction. First is the synthesis reaction or combination reaction. It occurs when two or more reactants combine to form a single product. Combination reaction, class, occurs when two or more materials combined in a chemical reaction to form a new material. Like what you can see here, we have a sodium metal and chlorine gas. So once these two combined, it will form sodium chloride. And sodium chloride, class, is salt. Okay, yung asin, ayan, ay nagmula sa sodium and chlorine. So, ang nangyari sa kanila, kaya sila nakabuo ng panibagong material or panibagong substance is due to the combination or synthesis reaction. Okay, na-combined to form a single product. Next is decomposition reaction. It is the reverse of synthesis reaction. So, in a decomposition reaction, one reactant breaks down into two or more products. So, it occurs, class, when a single material breaks into elements or more simple compounds. So, those are the two types of chemical reaction that happens in a chemical change. So chemical reactions happens in our everyday life, and we can observe this when we observe the chemical changes of our materials, substances. And that is our lesson for today. Changes that materials undergo. Again, matter undergoes changes, and these changes can either be a physical change or a chemical change.